morning, guys. I'm Katie, the Education Director here at Carolina Tiger Rescue, and today I am joined by Keeper Kara. Hi. And behind the camera is Marissa.
Good morning.
It is Friday, so Friday means for us with lives, it's feeding day, which the animals are super excited about. Feeding day. Throw a party, right?
Yeah.
So we've got some animals that we have seen today and some animals that we haven't. We're going to start with one of our two cougars, Star. And Kara's actually got her meds. We talked about meds yesterday. She's got her meds this morning. We figured we're coming down. We'll just do everything at once. So yeah, we're going to head over to Star Cougar and see where she is and what's going on and how her morning's going. She's about to get even better because she's going to eat. Good morning, everybody. I hear it's Friday. For those of you who have lost track of the days, this is the only thing that keeps my day straight. Just doing lives each morning. So, good morning. Star does live along the tour path. She run into trees and branches.
Don't run into trees and branches.
She is our oldest cougar. We don't know exactly how old she is. Once we get up here, I'll tell you a little about our story when I can actually turn and face the camera without falling over.
Good morning to everyone who is saying good morning to us. We're very excited that you're tuning in. We've got quite a few animals to show you this morning, so let's cross our fingers that all of them cooperate. Is she sleeping?
She's so early. So this is Star. Star is one of our two cougars. Star is, as I said, we don't know exactly how old she is. She came from a roadside zoo down in Mississippi called the Collins Zoo. And it's a run-of-the-mill roadside. It was a run-of-the-mill roadside zoo. They were closed down by the state of Mississippi because of inhumane conditions to the animals and unsafe conditions to the people. The owners were so angry their animals were being confiscated that they burned the medical records. So we don't know exactly how old Star is. The one piece of paper that we were able to get from there said that she was born in 1998, which would make her 22. We don't know that she's actually that old. We also had rescued two black leopards at the same time. And it said that they were much younger, so we actually think their birthdays were switched. Again, it doesn't matter to us because we just go based on what we see. She is getting older and is slowing down just a bit. So Kara, what medication did you give her this morning?
So she got some basically like anti-inflammatory and pain medication for her arthritis. Because she is older and you might see her kind of be a little bit stiff while she's walking. We just try and keep her comfortable as she's getting older. And we kind of dose that medicine and keep an eye on her. And it varies. We talk with our vet a lot. There's a lot of communication between us and our vet. About that, and we keep a close eye on her with that. But she moves well. She might be a little bit stiff. You basically saw her getting up for the first time in the morning. So when I went around this morning, she was in her den box. So that was her pretty much jolt up this morning. So her normal routine in the morning, she gets up for meds, she gets a good drink, which I'm waiting for her to do now because normally she takes a real long drink in the morning. And then, yeah, she's eating really early this morning. Normally we don't eat this early. But she's actually just looking for food now.
So, and part of that too with the medication is, one, we want to make sure she's not in any pain, but we also want to keep her moving as much as possible. Because if you think about it, especially me on the weekends right now, and I can't go do anything, I sit on my couch and then after hours and hours and hours of binge watching nonsense, I get up and I'm real stiff. So we want to make sure that that's not preventing her, the stiffness isn't preventing her from getting up and moving around. Which is also why we give her that medication. So Marissa, I don't know if you can maybe get a little closer. We'll see how she does. But she is purring.
Good morning,
a little bit.
We're not sure if you guys can hear that, but she is purring for all of you.
Not our loudest. Well, She is now. She is our loudest purr, but she is pretty consistent with it. So we've talked a little bit previously as to, oh, she was thinking about it. Previously about big cats versus small cats. So Star is a cougar, mountain lion, puma, catamount. They have over 70 different names because of their wide reach. There she goes. Or their wide habitat range. It used to extend over here into North Carolina, but there are no cougars east of the Mississippi River anymore, except for the small subspecies down in Florida, typically known as the Florida panther. Cougars are the biggest of the small cats, so the way that you tell the difference between big cats and small cats has actually nothing to do with size and has everything to do with the sounds they make. So big cats roar, lions, tigers, leopards, jaguars, snow leopards, and small cats purr. And that would be the rest of the cats. I can't name them all because there's over 20 of them. Then I'd be here all day. Huh?
They could hear her.
Oh, good.
Everybody was commenting that they could hear her.
Yeah, so that hyoid bone in the back of her throat, like it is with all small cats, including house cats at home, is stiff. So as she blows air in and out, she's able to make that vibrate, and that makes that purring sound. And then for big cats, it's actually flexible, so when they blow air out, it flexes, and they're able to get that big roar that can be heard so far away. So she is a small cat. She's getting... So cats have scent glands in their cheeks. She may also just be rubbing some of that extra fur off of her. She is shedding her undercoat at this point because it's warming up, but she's also leaving her scent behind to remind us that that fence is hers, and we are happy to let her have that. I was like, as soon as I start talking, she'll crunch that. So she just got a drumstick. And if you notice, she's moving it back and forth to the left side, to the right side, to use those carnassial teeth that act like shears or scissors to cut that bone, to swallow it whole, or swallow pieces whole. So they don't actually chew like we chew to grind up our food. They shear off pieces of that meat, and then they swallow it whole. And again, it's important for us to feed a whole carcass diet. And Kara can speak a little to that.
Whole carcass diet?
Whole carcass diet. Sorry,
Yeah.
put you on the spot.
So out here we do feed a whole carcass diet. I'm pretty sure we definitely have talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
So the majority of what we do feed out here is like, you want a drink, you want chicken. The majority of what we feed out here is definitely chicken. We have a lot of turkey as well. But we do get livestock. So we get a lot of that stuff. But basically the bone is very important for them. So there you go.
Just to clarify, that's a growl and not a purr.
Correct.
Which is why for the remainder of the feeding here at Star, I will not be getting closer like I did when she was purring. We're going to give her that space.
Yes. So that chicken leg alone provides a lot of nutrition for her. So the bone alone, it gives her a lot of calcium. It provides, her crunching down on it keeps her jaw muscles really strong. It cleans her teeth. It provides a lot of nutrition for her. Like I said, livestock, so like the harder bones that they get fed provide a lot of the same thing. They can actually break down this bone, so chicken and turkey bone. The other bones that they get, they actually don't necessarily eat the whole thing, but they gnaw on them for a long time. We do clean our enclosures weekly, so normally we end up taking out those harder bones. Chicken bones, turkey bones, normally those they eat whole and they end up crunching those down. And again, those provide a lot of nutrition for these guys. Yeah? Okay.
She's ready.
Oh, then you're going to get the rest of your meal, okay? So we're going to use the food sheet.
We'll change it up, Star.
Yeah.
She knows what comes out of there. So Kara's gonna make sure she's got 4 legs on the floor. And plop that down there. And if you notice with her, and we may notice a difference when we get to Tio at the end, but if you notice, she is keeping Although it seems very comfortable eating, she has not turned her back completely on us. She is keeping an eye on us, and that is a trait of small cats typically, is that they know they're not the biggest things out there, and so they want to make sure that they're not going to have their food taken from them, or they're not going to get hurt if they need to drop that and run. So she is keeping an eye on us. She's pretty comfortable. She's been here for years and years and years, so she knows how the general schedule of all this goes. Words are hard this morning, sorry guys. She is also reminding us, as she is super excited about that chicken, that if we try to come take it, then we're gonna have a fight on our hands, and we certainly would never do that. All right, so we're gonna head over to grab some more food and head over to some smaller cats. Here at Carolina Tiger Rescue, even though Star is a technically a small cat, we call them medium cats, just so that we know in general who we're talking about. So our cougars and our leopard are just for general sanctuary verbiage, we call them medium cats, but they are small. Cougars are small cats, leopards are big cats, and then we have smaller cats and we have bigger cats, which is why they're in the middle. Did you work that all that out?
It's all very confusing. It's fine. We'll guide you. We'll guide you all through it.
I still have to ask questions about it, so it's all good. It's all good.
Katie,
Sarah, how often does she eat?
So Star eats 5 times a week.
See, big cat, 5 times a week.
Yeah, so our big cats and medium cats eat 5 times a week. Our small cats and Capriccio eat 6 times a week.
Capriccio's special.
Yeah, he's special.
You just want to grab it and walk over. Yeah. Sorry, you had a question. I cut you off.
No, that's okay. Star had a lot of fans watching this morning, for sure. They were all tuning in and saying Star is their favorite.
Excellent. She's a gem.
And as we walk over, I know we're going to see a few different species habitats, Katie. So I'm going to mention the question now. Someone wanted to know what types of modifications do we make to accommodate each species' needs. And since we're going to be seeing hopefully 4 species today, figured we could mention that now.
Yeah. So if you think about the general habitat range of each species, we take that into account as to where we put them in the sanctuary and the type of plant life that may or may not be living in there. So if you turn around, Marissa, and look at Star's enclosure, one, she's got a roof on there. Cougars are known for their great jumping ability. Star probably can't make leaps and bounds at this point with her age, but she used to be able to. So we have a roof on that enclosure to keep her in. She also, as you notice, has lots of trees. These guys live in a lot of forested areas, and so she would, in the wild, be spending her time in a lot of shaded areas. We want to make sure that we provide her with that shade that she would know to be found in. As we get over to our caracals are going to live in more wide open areas. So even though there's trees in their enclosure, they're certainly going to find shade under trees in Africa and the Middle East, where they are found in the wild. But there are fewer trees in their enclosure, some tall grass, but also some barren areas with, well, here it's pine straw versus sandy type substrate, and they do fine with it. Also a roof on their enclosure. Caracals are capable of jumping about 12-13 feet up in the air. We want to make sure they stay inside, so we have a roof on there, but if you notice, their roof is high. So if they do start to make any types, if they do jump, they're not going to hurt themselves. Yeah. And then, so we do take into account each species. Our lions live in a much sunnier enclosure than the majority of our tigers. They still can get some shade, but they are known to bask in the sun for about 20 hours a day. So we want to make sure that we give them that opportunity. All right, so did that answer the question?
I believe so.
Oh, good.
I think. By the way, we also have someone watching from the Yukon. I would like to point that out. They said hello from the Yukon, which is
Yukon.
about the farthest north that you can find cougars. So greetings from North Carolina.
Thank you for tuning in this morning. We appreciate that. So here we have our 2 caracals. We have Kitwanna, who is This guy here on the left, if you've tuned him in before, you'll see that he is doing a little pacing. That's more of an excitatory pacing of like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I have this nervous energy because I know I'm going to get fed, and that's super, super exciting. And then we have Zari over on the right. We do shift them apart. Caracals, as with most animals, can be food aggressive. And so we want to make sure that not only are they not fighting over their food, but they're also getting the allotted amount of food that they're each supposed to have. And today they do get the same amount of food, but we want to make sure Zari is a little bit of a bully. We tried to talk to her about it and saying that's not okay. She doesn't listen. But we want to make sure that she doesn't bully Kitwanna off of his food. We also want to make sure he is bigger than her. And if they were to get into a disagreement, they went further than just hissing and spitting, he certainly could hurt her, whether intentionally or not intentionally. So we want to make sure that he's not throwing his weight around and potentially hurt Zari. So we do shift them apart. They have a little tunnel in the back. And we'll head over here. So it's a little hard to see because of poison ivy. It covers it so well. Right there. But there is a tunnel there that they can go back and forth. There's a shift gate on the left side. Kara has dropped that shift gate. And Zari here is ready for her food. These guys are super excited. They don't get fed typically this early in the morning just because it does require some coordination and a little bit of time to get everything ready. So Kara used the stick to pull that top off. She's also making sure sometimes wasps like to make their home in there, and she wanted to not get nailed by a wasp this morning, which would not make for a fun Friday. So if you notice, she did wait until Zari had all 4 feet on the ground to give her that food. She used the stick to ensure that her hands were not near that, because Zari can reach up and reach her arm through there. Zari does have her claws, and she wants to make sure that, one, Zari doesn't get in the habit of climbing the fence because she could get hurt that way, but also, two, she wants to make sure that, Kara wants to make sure she keeps all her fingers intact from those Caracal claws. So how much is she getting this morning, Kara, and why is it in a box?
So she is getting 3/4 of a pound. So she's on a size small. That's what we call a size small here at Caroline Tiger SU. And then we just gave her a box for enrichment purposes. So sometimes we throw in some feeding enrichment here and there. Normally on a daily basis, our guys get enrichment. This is a form of enrichment for her. So as you can see, it just kind of stimulates her. She's basically got to work for her food a little bit more than if we just put it down the food chute, she picked it up and she started eating it. So this is kind of like a puzzle box for her. She's kind of got to rip it up. If she were to ingest any of the cardboard, we normally just keep an eye on that. Elvis, who we will feed after we feed Kitwanna, is notorious for eating cardboard, so he does not get cardboard anymore.
Lost his cardboard.
Right, right.
Privilege is revoked.
Right, so we do keep an eye on that, but normally they just kind of tear it up, and that's about it.
So I kind of liken the food enrichment like this to making the pizza versus having it delivered. She's got to work for it. If I want pizza and I'm going to enrich myself, I'm going to go buy all the ingredients, bring it home. I don't do that. I let it come to me. She does not have that option today. But as you can see, it does require her a little bit of work to get to it. These guys are hunters, predators in the wild, and so, here too. And she's not a predator. Right. But they would be working for that food in the wild, so they do have extra energy. We want to make sure that we expend that energy as much as possible. Zari, you got work for it today. Mm-hmm. That's all right.
Ladies, someone wants to know if there are any, when we reopen, are there tours or experiences that they can sign up for where they get to go around and feed the animals as well?
Oh, I'm going to let Kara answer that one.
Yes. So we do offer feeding with the keeper tours. Those are basically offered by, you call the keepers and we schedule them kind of by appointment only. They're 9 o'clock tours. They're about 2.5 hours long. They're basically, you walk around with a keeper. They're educational tour. We try and feed basically our on-tour animals, but we don't, we don't say we can feed all of them necessarily the whole time. But it's a very fun tour. It's very educational, and it's a lot of fun. The information is on our website, and you guys are welcome to call and get some more information on that.
We also, if I can chime in, we also have an adult day camp, which is my favorite day of the year. We do it a couple times a year. Not that I don't love our kids camp, because that is also super fun, but we take all the best parts of our kids camp, including feeding with the keepers, and pack it into a busy, fun, educational day. And you get to watch the guys make pacassos and make enrichment for them and go feeding with the keepers as well. And we cater your lunch. And our next one's in June, and I'm 99% sure that one is full. And we're hoping to have it, but we will certainly be offering more of those later in the summer and into the fall. So keep an eye out for that as well. So we'll head over to Kitwanna as Zari works on her box enrichment this morning. She may be saying some not so nice words to Kara later as she continues to work on that, but that's okay. Good for him.
Kit is very excited.
This is Kitwanna. Kara again is going to make sure he's got 4 on the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, sometimes they get lucky and it falls out. And he's going to walk off with that as if he earned that all himself. Yeah. Look at that fancy walk he's got going on there. So if you notice, he took it away. Even though he took it away, that's how it goes sometimes. Yeah. Even though he took it away, he is still facing us. He's making sure that he has his eyes on us. We are bigger than him, and he wants to make sure, one, that we are not going to hurt him, which of course we wouldn't, but he doesn't necessarily know that. He's a small cat. And then also that he didn't have that food that he clearly worked so hard for get taken away.
It's like I picked it up and walked away.
Right. That was enough for today. We're going to head over to Elvis. Yeah. And for Elvis again, he is not getting his food in cardboard because he is known to eat the cardboard. And no, that's not okay. No. But there is something a little special about his food.
Yes. So we hammer his bone. So basically he started getting the bone stuck in his teeth. We started to have to do this with some of our small cats. Basically, we were finding that we were finding whole bones in their enclosure. So again, like I was talking about before, we want them to get that whole carcass diet. This bone is very important for their diet altogether. So when we hammer it, they end up eating the whole thing and they get all the nutrition that they need to get from this bone. Basically, this bone alone can replace about, I think we had said 14 calcium pills about like this big. So instead of giving him that many calcium pills, we're going to just go ahead and hammer this bone, and that just replaces all of that.
Might as well go to the source.
Right. So we're just going to walk over here to this, stick it over here, hammer the bone real quick.
Someone asked if we ever feed anything live.
Oh no. This is our enrichment, hammering. No, we don't. That is for a couple of reasons. One reason is because even though these guys do have those instincts to kill, they have never been given the opportunity to practice that. Mom was never around to teach them what to do with that. And the other thing is they would likely get hurt, and it's inhumane for the animal that we would be feeding out live. Now, with that said, there are native animals that live around here. Squirrels, snakes, mice, and we cannot... We go this way. Oh, there's one right there. I don't know where all the gates are. And they, obviously, we can't stop them from catching that. If they do catch that, which they are known to do every now and then, we call that Carolina Tiger fast food. That's also enrichment.
That's true.
So this is Elvis. We met Elvis on Tuesday. Just a reminder of his story. He was dropped off at us outside of our gate once Monday morning after we had gotten a call from a woman who said she had a friend who had a serval and it wasn't working out. When he came, he was less than ideal condition. He had no fur on his face. He was underweight, which on all indications led us to believe he probably spent most of his time in the dog crate he was dropped off in. He does have 3 legs, so 4 on the floor doesn't quite work for him. 3 on the...
I mean, to be fair, all of our animals have 3 legs.
Yeah, but...
He's just missing the 4th.
He's missing the 4th. We'll have to come up with some rhyme for him. But he's got all 3 legs on the floor. He did lose that leg. We had to amputate it after we came in one morning several years ago, and he had about 12 breaks in that back left leg. We don't know what happened. We've asked him. He is keeping that silent. He just won't tell us. So, but he is fine. These guys are born with those 4 legs, and that is a lot better than, say, a human losing 1 leg. But he worked out and he balances well, and he says, please give me that food. So again, Kara's going to make sure that her hands, as she watches him, to make sure he stays on the ground, and not put her fingers near that tube. Keep her safe. But, and he, as you notice, even though he took that away, he is making sure he keeps a close eye on us to make sure we're not going to take that food from him.
He's like, yeah.
He said, you still here? Excuse me, I like to eat in peace. Y'all usually walk away. The other thing to notice before we go to our big cat, is that if you see, Elvis is very aware of his surroundings and what's going on as he eats that. But he also has those 3 legs ready to run should he need to take off. And I'm hoping, although it didn't work out as well last week, I'm hoping that we're going to see a difference once we get over to Tio, who is our tiger next door, who we're going to feed this morning. And we should be able to see a bit of a difference on how he eats versus those small cats.
Yeah.
We're going to head next door to Tio.
I know
Tiger.
we've had a few people, particularly a number of our volunteers, who have been anxiously waiting for Tio to join us for a live. So the moment has come.
Yes. Pull up your screens close, because here he comes. Yes, it's hard, guys, when we have so many animals to get everybody featured. But we are doing our best. So here is Tio Tiger. Tio came to us from our rescue. We rescued 4 tigers. If you guys remember last week, we gave in birthday enrichment to Yanaba. She was from the same one. Same rescue from the southwestern part of the United States. We rescued 4 tigers, Yanaba, Shira, Kari, and Tio here. Tio is a fan favorite to many of our volunteers. He is one of our more laid-back tigers. He just kind of goes with the flow. When he was released into this enclosure after spending his quarantine time up in the quarantine building, he promptly walked out of the crates, peed on everything, and took a nap. So he was not nervous at all, which was a great sign that he was going to settle in beautifully, and he has. So what you got for him today?
I got some chicken corners.
Excellent.
I'm going to be here for a little bit.
That's okay. I think everybody will appreciate that. And how much is he getting today?
He is on 1.5, so he is on 9 pounds.
9 pounds of food today. I think I could eat 9 pounds of food today and nap the rest of the day. So if you notice, Tio is not minding that we're here at all. With these quarters, he may not lay down all the way just because once he lays down, he's finished it and has to get back up and come back over. But he does turn his back on us. He is, as being the biggest guy on the block, as far as the apex predator, tigers are less than worried typically about other people taking, or other animals taking their food.
Sorry.
We had a couple questions. I know you guys have lots of questions. We're trying to get to them. How do we name the animals, Katie?
how do we name the animals?
Yep.
That's a great question. There's a couple ways we name the animals. Sometimes they come in with names. So think back to Elvis and Kitwanna and Zari. They actually, when they were rescued, had those names. They were names that we had not used previously, or had animals that had previously had those names. So we kept those names because we also like those names. Tio, his name formerly was Chico when we first rescued him. And we had an animal in the past who had that name. It just gets confusing in our records and with anybody who had known the previous Chico of who you potentially are talking about, even if it's a different species. So to make things easier, the staff was able to submit names, and and then we voted on it, and he got the name Tio. He said, "I do not want those thighs this morning, thank you." Sometimes we'll change names because we just don't think they suit the animal. We have Mila and Riley, and the third tiger that was with them, Iris. When they came in, their names were Twinkle, LaFleur, and it was unclear whether we got Morgan or Milo because that was the rescue where they had over 60 tigers and things got a little confusing. We had a Morgan before, so we were going to change that name. Had her name actually been Milo, we thought that might be a little confusing because she is female. We also just didn't like the names Twinkle or LaFleur for tigers. And so, again, the staff submitted names. LaFleur became Iris. Twinkle became Riley. And Milo/Morgan became Mila. Animals like Bo, who maybe didn't have a name when they came in. Remember, he was born in the wild, Bo Cougar. We decided to name him after the wildlife officer in Washington who saved him, Officer Beausoleil, as a thank you to him, and we think it suits him very well. Sometimes our animals, as you can see, get a little picky and decide, no, you're going to have to work harder to feed me today. And so if Tio decides that he doesn't want any of the rest of this, we may come back later. It's also earlier than we will typically feed him. And he also may just be tired of chicken, which is also fair. And we'll bring something else to him. Sometimes they just want to be fed on a stick.
It's like having someone cut up your food for you.
It is. Like I don't want that whole, but if you cut it up, I think it's the best thing ever. So we'll hang out with him for another minute, answer a couple more questions, and then we're going to send you on your weekend.
Do the cats ever need baths, Katie?
No, thank goodness. So just like cats at home, these guys all have barbed tongues with, it's called papillae, which are barbs on their tongues, which is what makes them so rough. And what they will do is they will groom themselves. So typically after they have eaten, they will go lay down and groom themselves, just like your cat at home will do. They spend a good portion of their day grooming. I'm pretty sure he dropped that and didn't eat it. Yep. So we do not have to give them baths. We will give our tigers, once it starts to warm up and stay warm, we will give our tigers pools. And if we're doing this long enough, we'll certainly feature that at some point. But it's too cool at night to give pools out right now. But tigers do love to swim in the wild. They can swim up to 14 miles a day. So they do like water. But no, we don't have to give them baths. Thank goodness. I don't think that would go very well for anybody. It's like giving your house cat a bath. They say no. Or some dogs. Some dogs say no too.
If we have time for one more question, Katie.
Yeah?
How much does Tio weigh?
He weighs 325 pounds. Thank you, Marissa.
I got you.
It's hard to keep track of all their weights and birthdays. I know their names, though. But it's hard to keep track of all their weights. He weighs 325 pounds. He's about middle of the road for our guys. We have our two smallest tigers across the road or across the path there, Mona and Moki, who are about 205, 207 pounds. And then our big guy, of course, is Capriccio at 489 pounds. If you tuned in on Wednesday, I met Roscoe. He's 410 pounds. So at 325 pounds, he's about, Tio's about right in the middle. These guys, the biggest of the subspecies, the Siberian, or the Amur tiger, can weigh upwards of 650 pounds. And then the smallest, which should be the Sumatran, can weigh about 200 pounds. So we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in this morning. We have an activity on the website for you guys to check out. I would love to tell you what it was, but I forgot to check, but it's up there, or will be up there soon. We are planning to do this again next week. Just as an FYI, we did check the weather. Monday's weather looks bad again. If we are able to do it, we will certainly do it. Otherwise, we're going to move Monday's enrichment activity to Thursday. We'll move some stuff around. So tune in next week. Check out our Facebook page for updates as to whether or not we're able to do Monday. If not, we will certainly be here Tuesday. And then Wednesday's Earth Day, so there might be some fun enrichment going out on Wednesday, just saying, with some 3 gorgeous tigers who live up top, including our biggest one. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. We hope everybody's staying safe and staying healthy and staying home so that we can get over this as quickly as possible, so that we can have you guys out here to meet these guys in person, safely, of course. And we hope you have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy this gorgeous weather in North Carolina today. And we will see you maybe Monday, but definitely Tuesday. Bye, guys. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Tio says, okay, fine.